Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast, a production from Empowering Pumps and Equipment as the voice of the pump and related equipment industry. Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 131 of the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charli Matthews, and I'm just so thankful that you're joining us each week. Don't forget to leave us a rating and review, to like and subscribe, and to stay connected with us at Empowering Pumps or using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast. We have a couple of empowering updates, and I want everyone to know that if they are planning to attend Empowering Women in Industries Conference in New Orleans on October 13th, the early bird is closing. That's August the 30th. So if you're listening to this when it comes out, it's tomorrow. So make sure that you have registered and save money that way. The other thing, EPIC, the Empowering Pumps and Industry Conference for November 14th and 15th, that is open for registration purposes. That's going to go through September 30th. And so look forward to seeing y'all there, where the industry and the workforce go to connect. Really looking forward to seeing that come together. We've had so much just support from our sponsors. And so we just are excited to see who attends and look forward to getting to know you. Like I said, always mention us so we can get to know you through the digital world on the podcast. But also, I just want to encourage everybody to look and see who they can nominate as far as an award winner for EPIC. We are including the Industry Person of the Year. So there is still time to nominate people. And so hopefully we can get those in for this year. And I actually have a really wonderful interview for you today. It's one of my great colleagues, friends, just empowering woman that I like to look up to, Jaclyn, or Jackie, as I would call her, Herrera. She is the Chief Marketing Officer and Head of DEI and Product Sales, I believe, is also added in there now for Vortex companies. And that is a shift. I actually met her at her prior company where she worked at the Weir group in the oil and gas division, where we talked and learned all about frac pumps and the world of upstream pumping. And so she was a really, really wonderful leader there in the marketing department. Over 10 years was spent and really just, she had multiple roles. She overseen the company's marketing, communications, branding, development and sales programs there. And so we talk a lot about that, kind of that oil and gas to water industry. And then she just brings that wealth of knowledge that is marketing and that technical side of marketing, but also, I guess, the relationship building side of marketing as well. That's so important for our sales processes. And so I won't go on. I could talk about her forever. I think she's amazing. She did get her degree at the University of North Texas and is there in Houston. So we will see her at EPIC. And if you want to reach out to her, I'll include that in the show notes as well. So without further delay, here's your interview. Hey, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. What a guest I have for you today. I have known her probably my whole career, definitely since I've been an entrepreneur. And I'll just let you, Jackie, introduce yourself because I could go on and on.
Well, I could go on and on about you, Charli. I think I adore you. I love our friendship and our both professionally and personally. It's been incredible. I'm Jackie Herrera. I am Chief Marketing Officer at Vortex Companies. I'm also responsible for our product sales team, and I'm head of diversity and inclusion. So I wear many hats at Vortex, but that's a little bit about me.
Yes. And tell people kind of how you got into the industry then.
Sure. So I am a marketer. I got my degree in marketing from the University of North Texas many moons ago. But I always tell people that my career was really sort of specifically designed. I spent the first almost 5, 6 years of my career doing agency work. So I worked for brand and marketing agencies. I was exposed to many different industries. many different types of marketing and communications. And I did that because I wanted to be exposed to the best minds in marketing. And I knew that I could get that exposure at an agency. I also knew that I would be exposed to multiple industries, and I really wanted to understand how I could apply marketing to different industries and almost not get pigeonholed into one specific arena. And I'm from Houston, and so I naturally, from agency world, I moved into oil and gas since it's such a prevalent industry there in Houston. And I love the oil and gas industry. And so I spent 10 years of my career marketing pumps and wellheads and heavy equipment for the oil and gas industry, primarily used on the upstream side of the business. And now I joined Vortex about a year ago. I switched industries. I'm with water and sewer industry now, a lot of heavy construction, and we do a lot of maintaining and repairing mainline sewers and mainline waters. So the water that you drink every day and the restrooms you use every day are tied into some of the products that we're maintaining on a daily basis.
So thank you for that. There's so much that I want to dig into. And one, I met you when you were in the oil and gas industry, upstream pumping. We were heavy in that, and I got to tour some of the most amazing plants with you and see how that world worked. So thank you for introducing me to that and helping me understand. I think those two worlds are very different. And I'm curious also, because I know these are male dominated spaces that we live in. And now you are in the C-suite as, a marketer for one, within, that technical knowledge that is needed. So much there from oil and gas and the oil and gas industry. What was it like kind of starting your marketing career in that?
Oh gosh, I think oil and gas is my heart. I adore the industry. I think it's full of strong, passionate, gritty people that get their hands dirty on a daily basis. And I was exposed to engineering minds that are probably some of the best minds I've ever met in my life, that are so passionate about solving problems. And that was so much part of my life. And I think it influenced my marketing role because it really helped me see how an engineer thinks and how they're really focused on the challenges that customers face and then solving those through technologies. And I think that influenced how I think about marketing and how I think about communicating to customers. I also think the industry in general plays such a vital role in everyone's life, whether you're in the industry or not. Everything that we touch on a daily basis leads back to the energy industry. And I think, I always thought about that on a regular basis. I was just selling pumps and wellheads. But to really sit back and think how that pump plays a role into my life and everyone else's life on a regular basis is pretty incredible. I think also the people of the oil and gas industry, it takes a special person to weather the storms of the oil and gas industry, a lot of highs and lows. And so, like I said, the people of the industry are just super gritty and strong and passionate, and you have to love it to be in it. And I certainly miss it. But I'm in a good spot now, too.
That's right, because both energy and water are essential to life. And I think that those two roles go right together. And once you're in the water industry for a little bit, I think that those may even out just a little bit to which one, you feel like at your core, because that's it. It's about the people and it's about what they're creating for us. We can't live without these products, and we can't live without these hardworking people to make sure that this happens. So, you know, I've loved that you came to the water industry because you know that I'm passionate about that. But
Yeah.
it's that relationship building, right? It's what you said, sales. I've been selling pumps. Well, your role wasn't sales, but that's the end goal, right? To market is to create sales opportunities and solve the problems for the customer. So I love that, and I think you're a brilliant marketer, and always just asking the right questions. And so I'm curious about that change, right? So you went from oil and gas to water. Um, how is that transition? And I guess, are you seeing any similarities? I mean, I've pointed out a couple, but from your perspective.
Yeah, and thank you for your kind words, Charlie. I appreciate that. I think the similarities between the two industries is, between Vortex and where I was coming from with Caterpillar and Weir, there's products and there's services. And at the end of the day, on the product side, you're solving a customer's problems, or you're helping them deliver some sort of um, product or asset to the world or benefit to the world. And then on the services side, you've got people that are helping preserve equipment or maintain assets in the world that I live in now. So there's very much similarities in the two. But I think at the end of the day, as a marketer, you're really focused on the customer. And so whether I'm marketing pumps, or whether in the oil and gas industry, or marketing pumps within the water industry, it's all the same. It's all about the customer. It's all about making sure that you're understanding, their problems, you're understanding what they're trying to accomplish within their daily lives. And then you make a message that's about that. And you try to find a happy medium between what you're offering and what the customer absolutely needs. And that's it. It's all about the customer at the end of the day. I think the other thing is, as marketers, especially young marketers, and the young marketers that I have on my team that join my team, one of the first lessons that I try to convey is really around, young marketers go straight to tactics, which you have to have tactics to deliver the objectives. However, going straight to tactics, you're limiting yourself. And so what I try to teach young marketers is, you have to think about the customer. You have to understand the customer. To be a great marketer, in whatever space you're in, you have to understand your customer. You have to spend time with the sales guys, and spend time with your service crews that are out there in the fields, that are experiencing the stuff that the customers are touching on a daily basis. And once you understand that, then you can design marketing material and sales material that meet the needs of your customers. I also think the other part of it is, as marketers, it's not just about the front end of the sale. If you're not thinking about the entire customer experience, and how, as a marketer, you can help improve that entire customer experience, then you're selling yourself short. And there's tremendous opportunity in thinking about, again, not just the front end of the sale, but how are we delivering that product? What does that package look like? How are we meeting the needs on the back end of the sale, so that you're really engaging your customer throughout the entire value chain? And then you've got a customer for life.
Yeah, and I'm curious about your kind of the differences in your job too within marketing. Today, are you managing other people in a marketing team? What does the role look like now?
Sure. So on the marketing side, I've got a team of four, and then we have many partners that support us externally. My team consists of a brand director, and she's primarily responsible for a lot of our product packaging. She's responsible for our external message on kind of a global level. Then I also have a communications director. He's fantastic. He's really responsible for the day-to-day communications around products to our customers. So he's doing a lot of the sales material. He's working on RFQs with our sales team. And then I have a digital marketer as well, and she's responsible for all of our digital marketing efforts. So whether that's the website, or paid advertisement, or paid social, in the digital space, she's responsible for that. And then I also have a copywriter on staff. In fact, it's a new hire. They haven't even started yet, but we're very excited about them coming on board. And they're really going to be focused on describing the product that we've got in a way that helps customers understand the product that we're selling today at Vortex, whether it's some of our pump trucks, or the liners that are fixing the pipes. It's a very technical world, and making sure that the technical specifications of some of the products that we're selling meet the needs of the expectations of an asset owner. So, for example, you think about water lines. You have to make sure that those water lines are clean. It's people drinking water out of them on a daily basis. That's coming into your home, essentially. And so, giving confidence to our customer that we've done the right testing, and we've designed our liners in a way that is going to be healthy for our customers is extremely important. And so that copywriter is going to be responsible for making that technically come to life, and helping our customers understand that we've got their best interests at heart, and really the best interests of the community at heart.
Yeah, and it's so important. And I love that you have that team that you're managing and that they get to learn from you. Again, like the background in marketing, and I think kind of starting at that agency and then bringing that expertise to this very technical world of industry. It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that we know about. And so we're so thankful when those two worlds, can be managed in a person like you that gets the language and can create stories. On the other side of that, you mentioned diversity, equity, inclusion, that you're working on that, and you're building that within Vortex. What does that look like? I mean, you have now a great example, whether you want to be or not. You are a role model for women in the industry, and what is needed. I'm just, what's next steps? How do we grow here? I'm really curious about your.
Yeah, when I look at the construction industry today, at least from what I've been exposed to so far, is where oil and gas was when I started, 12 years ago in oil and gas. Um, my first internal meeting when I started at my previous company, I was in a room of 60 people, and I was the only woman in the room. And I was shocked because the agencies I had worked at before that were all women-owned businesses, and we were empowering women, and ideas mattered, and it was this beautiful, beautiful thing. And then going into the oil and gas industry and being the only girl sitting at the table, it was scary, to be honest. It was scary at that time. But then 10 years later, right before I transitioned out of the industry, there was a lot more ladies in the room, and it was so incredible to watch their transition. And even the engineering teams where I was before, when I started, they were all men, and by the time I left, there was so much a balance of these incredible, incredible women in engineering, and it was just inspiring to see. And I think when women come to the table, we bring a different set of ideas and a different set of values, and really a different set of emotions. And I know emotions, we're not supposed to talk about in business, but as women, um, it is emotional for us. It is, we have a softer side that cares about people in a way. It's motherly, I guess. And so I think the ideas that women can bring to the table, it was just such a shift in the oil and gas industry at the end of my time. The ideas were bigger and better, and very different. Not that my male counterparts did anything wrong, but you just saw the diversity happen. And I think when you have a diverse team, whether that's women and men or different cultures or different even different functions within the organization. When I would start to do my marketing planning for the year, I didn't just have marketers in the room. I would ask the engineering team to join me. I would ask our finance team to come join me. I would ask our field crews to come join me, because I think ideas can come from anywhere and anyone. And so now being in the construction industry, I sort of feel like I'm back in those early days. There's a lot less ladies sitting around the table with me, and so we're gonna help change that and shift that.
Absolutely.
That's
And
exciting.
it is exciting, and we know that it can happen when we focus on it and we're intentional about it. That's our theme for empowering women this year: be intentional. And really, it is about looking at that and knowing that even if that emotional intelligence that we're talking about, we all need that, men and women. You need to be able to see that, but the encouragement that's not there a lot of the time when there's not women in the room,
Yeah,
more of a competitive environment. You need both, and they don't like cancel each other out. You just come up with that idea that's better because you're thinking of
exactly.
both sides. And so I love it. I love to be able to bring the sales and the marketing into the same room, or the operator and the engineer, and make them talk. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so, I think that I could go in a lot of different directions with you, but I do want to just pick your brain a little bit about the differences in marketing today. We've had such a change in the way that people communicate with each other because of the pandemic, and this shift was maybe happening because of technology. But how do you see the difference, kind of pre-pandemic to now, in marketing efforts?
Oh man, I mean, what a world we lived in. And gosh, I have to say, marketing is at my heart, and to see the changes that marketers had to make so quickly when everything shut down was truly incredible to watch. I mean, and I'll nerd out a little bit on marketing for a second, but the technologies that were that moved so quickly to come to the forefront, things like Zoom meetings. I mean, who knew that they'd come to where they were? But I think, prior to the pandemic, that in-person conversation was so important. And so the way that you were marketing to your customers pre-pandemic, um, you had the ability to go to trade shows, you had the ability to have conversations, you had the ability to meet in person. And then once the pandemic hit, you had to completely shift your mind to a way that was completely digital, as we all know, whether that was just communicating in a phone call or still trying to engage customers in a way. And and so we got to leverage different digital tools that we had never leveraged before. And in many cases we could only rely on digital tools, and digital advertising to try to engage customers and connect with customers. And so I think, we saw things like the trade show industry just completely fall down, and God bless that industry in terms of them just trying to survive and hold on. I mean, I can't even imagine being in that industry. And so at the tail end of COVID, that was probably one thing that I questioned whether or not it would come back. And I questioned whether or not trade shows would be what they were pre-pandemic, because we kind of learned a different way to communicate and a different way to connect. But I'm so happy to say that, some of the trade shows that I've been to, and just in the last, 4 to 6 months, people are back and people want to meet people. And while during the pandemic, we got really good at talking to each other digitally, you talk to the same people that you knew. And so I think coming out of the pandemic, you can get back to some of those traditional ways that you were communicating with people. But to build your network and to lead generate, I think you have to get back in front of people. You got to get back to those networking events. You've got to get back to those organizations like Empowering Pumps and going to events again. And I think as marketers, making that shift yet once again, while still hanging on to those digital tools, has been tremendous. And I think the cool thing about it now is we're so much smarter digital marketers now because we've been through that. And now we've got that knowledge to take that into a space now where we can marry digital and in-person,
Absolutely.
communication. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I mean, I've been to a couple of shows already, but some of the bigger ones are coming up, and I just can't wait to see what creativity has happened during that time. And like you said, during the pandemic, I mean, even people like the marketing people who created like the directions that we're going to go in the grocery store, everything was like full speed. We have to create in order to help people. And I think that, we do that a lot, not on that, maybe that level. But there's a way that we can go into an event and say, okay, I really want to see you. I want to engage with you. I want this energy to create innovation, because I believe when we come
Yeah,
together, that's what happens. But we're going to capture all
absolutely.
this data along the way so that we can better help you. So we mentioned Empowering Pumps, and I'm really excited about this event we're having in Texas. It's Empowering Pumps and Industry Conference. It's called EPIC. And I think that I have a really great marketer who's going to come and talk. So, Jackie, thank you for signing up and being on our advisory board. I've just, I mean, even just asking the questions, it was a real like simple question, like, who's your audience? It was just a reminder of, okay, when you have an event, these are the marketing things that we need to set up in the beginning. And so thank you for, making us think about that. And then, so this event that we have coming up, Pasadena, Texas, San Jacinto College, and the college itself and all of the labs, and it's just going to make you feel like, wow, industry is cool. So this is made by industry for industry. But it also is going to talk about things like sustainability in the middle of the energy corridor, right? So I cannot wait to be there with you, and you're going to offer a session on marketing, but just connecting with you, connecting with the people on within the industry, that roundtable discussion time. I think that's where the magic is at. So I just wanted to thank you for being a part of it.
I'm so excited. It's going to be epic. I hope everybody comes. I cannot wait for it. I've had so much fun planning and meeting just the team that you've put together for it. They're all incredible individuals that know this industry and are so passionate. And I'm super excited to bring it to the table. I can't wait.
Well, thank you again, Jackie. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
You can email me. My email address is jherrera@vortexcompanies.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn under Jaclyn Herrera. I'd love to connect with people, young marketers, women, everybody.
She is one of the top marketers out there, but she is also just a genuinely amazing human being. Lots of fun. I mean, I feel like I haven't gotten to sit down with you and just hang out in years, but you're still one of my favorite people. So I'm looking forward to getting to see you again in person. Yeah. See you soon.
Thanks, Charli. We'll see you soon.
I hope everybody will join us for Epic and learn more about marketing and leadership from Jackie. The early bird savings is still, in action. So make sure that you register now so that you can take advantage of those savings. And then, just take a look at the schedule and see which programs and kind of plan out your day of how you're going to take advantage of these resources that are there, especially Jackie's course. So you can always, reach out to us through Empowering Pumps on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And you can use that hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast in your posts if you want to share this episode. That would be wonderful. And we'll be back next week with another new episode. And so until then, be empowering.